just speaking here, because I said the day after the trade deadline when Kevin Durant said, "Hey, I don't want to go to Golden State. I want to finish this out here." It was clear to me if you're trying to trade Kevin Durant, then the relationship with Kevin Durant is kaput, right? So KD will have 1 year left on his contract after this season with the Phoenix Suns. It looks like they're going to trade him. That team is underachieving. Book isn't going anywhere. You can't trade Bradley Beal. Of course, you can get the most for Kevin Durant. They gave up a lot to get him, and it hasn't worked. And that's not KD's fault, Trey. But I'm wondering, is there a place that you're looking at and saying, okay, if Kevin Durant's on the move, this team has enough to go get him, and it makes sense for him to join them?
I mean, honestly, I would love for Seven to be able to be a free agent again. You know what I mean? That's the freedom to be able to join a team without gutting a team. I mean, he mentioned it in the conversation with Malika about he costs a lot, realistically, and that's the thing. When you acquire a talent like that, it's going to gut the team that he actually needs, the players he actually needs. You know what I mean? Like, think about the Suns with Mikal Bridges and Kevin Durant if they were able to keep both. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work that way.
Or Cam Johnson, just one of them. Just one of them.
And just have to part ways with it. So he knew exactly the same way if he would have accepted the trade with Golden State of like, they would have had to trade some main pieces that they truly needed. And he did not want to be stuck with the the hot potato of blame game. You know what I mean? So like at the end of the day, like, yes, this dude super talented, obviously, 36 years old, year 17, still scoring 28. But again, it's empty stats right now because Phoenix is so bad. So yeah, I'm super curious, but I mean, I think he would love to play out his career and then actually be able to choose his next destination versus being traded. I mean, the beauty of it is that he's pretty open and understands the respect for the game to work with the team that's actually about to deal. You know what I mean? For them to get back. He's not trying to deplete the team and then it's just destroyed and they never come back.
Right. He is such a weird trick back because, Trey, usually we say, oh, if you're at 36, 37 years old and you're a great player, you should be trying to go to a place where you should win. Kevin Durant gets treated like he hasn't already won. So that thing doesn't factor in for him. Because we've said, superstar, if you don't win, you have to win. And KD went to Golden State, won 2 championships as the undisputed best player, right? Like, I don't think there's any doubt that Kevin Durant was the best player on that team, the most impactful
Except everybody in the Bay.
They didn't believe it. They didn't believe their lying eyes, right? And then he's not happy because he doesn't get whatever the credit validation. And we treat him in the media like he's John Stockton or something. Like he has something to prove somewhere else because of what happened in Brooklyn, because he hasn't won in Phoenix. So I don't know what would matter to him at this point. You know what I mean, Trey? Like the same things that would matter to most players probably won't matter to him because our rules for Kevin Durant have clearly changed over time.
Yeah, I just think Kevin's just free. You know what I mean? He's free of the judgment of what people think. I think at this point he's just trying to play at a high level until he can't play anymore. Most people are still trying to check off those lists because again, he won 2 rings and then people are like, okay, go win another one. And it's like, you guys are never going to be satisfied in this situation. So how do I approach this game? And then looking at him tearing his Achilles on an attempt of trying to get a three-peat and seeing his career potentially being over at 30, 31 years old. And now looking what he's done 6 years later, post Achilles, which is a career-ending injury
post
for most
MCL,
people.
Post Jones fracture. Like Jones he's had 3 career killers.
And he's come back and still played at a high level effectively. You know what I mean? So, I don't even scream the non-appreciation thing for him. I just think that he just goes out there and becomes a professional. He hasn't been hard to deal with in the media. He answers all the questions. He doesn't play the blame game. He's never threw any of the coaches under the bus. And I just think until the narrative gets old and they find someone else to get upset with, then he's just going to have to be that person, unfortunately.
I think, Trey, if he goes somewhere this summer, assuming he's going somewhere, if I'm Oklahoma City and you don't win this year, and it looks like, oh, maybe you need another guy, even though I feel like they got plenty of guys over there and they got all the draft picks and everything else. I wonder if he would go back over there to complete the circle of his career and go back to Oklahoma City.
I think a lot of people think it's bad blood. You know what I'm saying? I think what people ignore is that he understands the people's frustrations and and passion for the team and how it hurt because you're tied to it so much.
Right.
You have so many memories into it. You got so much sweat equity into these things. So like the idea that your favorite player is going somewhere, and Dallas is feeling that right now, right? Luka didn't actually want out of this situation, but also Kevin Durant at the age he was wanted to see what it was like to live somewhere else or play somewhere else. You know what I mean? Some other players might want that pressure. You know, every time somebody signs a new deal, I want to play here for the rest of my career. It never happens.
Don't say
You're
that.
not in control. You play until you don't play anymore. And in this particular situation, he took advantage of the situation to control his destiny and go play. You know, like I said, he mentioned him going to the Bay helped his business. Him going to the Bay helped him become a better player, learning how to play with other stars. Him going to the Bay helped him become a better defensive player that got him to the point of where he respects the game so much. He is probably one of the most complete players, and it's just going to be hard to be compared to a LeBron James who has done it a certain way. But also, we don't talk about how LeBron, and I love how D Wade in his podcast, go check out D Wade's podcast, by the way. He shared the story about how Kobe went back to back with Powell, and he called Bron. I mean, he got a call from Bron and said, "Yo, we need to team up. Like, you know, our window's closing. I got one, you ain't got none. Let's go do it." And no one never says anything about that because he ended up winning in 2016 and he's won in 2020 and he was able to rewrite the history. Not saying that KD has to go win again, but I don't think they truly appreciate him until he's done. So at the end of the day, we always forget that part. That,
yes, we do.
You know, he could not, you know, he finally beat the Pistons, but then he didn't have enough to beat the Spurs and, you know, and those are the things. And it took for Bron to win one, then two, then they didn't three-peat. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It took a lot. It's over, like you said, over time, we forget the details. Over time, somebody else writes the story. Over time, and LeBron has been around so long that over time, even the good things kind of get forgotten about because all we remember is the recency of 2016 and then 2020